Welcome to the module on self-care planning basics. I hope you are excited to get started on this part of the process. Now that you understand the concept of compassion fatigue and the importance that mindful self-care plans have on combating compassion fatigue and promoting compassion satisfaction, this module will offer suggestions on how to create and think about implementing a self-care plan. If you have any questions regarding the content in this module or the presentation, please feel free to reach out using the contact information at the bottom of each page. This module guides participants through selecting tools and formats for building a personalized, sustainable self-care plan. An emphasis is placed on routine reflection, understanding the steps to create a sustainable self-care plan, and offers an insight into evidence-based self-care strategies. There are many different templates available when creating a self-care plan. The template that you use should be meaningful to you. On screen, you can see some readily available templates that can get you started, or you might even consider creating a template of your own. A self-care planning template should reflect the aspects of self-care that are important to you. The self-care templates on the screen are included in the module as well as on the resource page. So now what? You've selected your self-care template, you understand the value of mindful self-cares, and you're definitely hoping to combat or reduce the risk of compassion fatigue related to the students you serve. It might seem overwhelming, but the good news is you don't have to overhaul your life to feel the benefits. In fact, it's often the small, consistent actions that make the biggest difference. Let's look at 4 practical ways to implement a self-care plan successfully. Number 1, set clear and achievable goals. Start by identifying specific areas where self-care is needed, such as physical health, mental well-being, or work-life balance. Set realistic, measurable goals that can be easily incorporated into daily life. For example, committing to 30 minutes of exercise 5 times a week, or committing to practicing mindfulness meditation for 10 minutes each day might be too much. You might consider committing 5 minutes each day to time spent outside. You could consider writing 1 gratitude statement 3 times per week. Keep your activities simple and small. These can grow or change with time and routine. Number 2, then focus on creation of a structured routine. Integrate self-care activities into your daily or weekly schedule. By making these practices a regular part of your routine, they become habits rather than occasional activities. For example, consider scheduling time for hobbies, exercise, or relaxation, and sticking to these time slots consistently. You might consider blocking 10 minutes on your calendar each day to journal about highs and lows from the previous day. You could consider waking up 15 minutes early each day to read a book of choice or recite positive affirmations. Number 3, prioritize and set boundaries. Learn to prioritize self-care by saying no to activities or commitments that may lead to burnout or feeling overwhelmed. Setting boundaries with others and managing time effectively ensures that self-care remain a priority. This might involve limiting your screen time, setting aside personal time, or asking for help when needed. Remain committed to the short periods of time you have set aside for yourself during the day. And number 4, reflect and adjust regularly. Self-care plans are not a one-and-done situation. The plan needs to be regularly assessed to determine how well it is working for you. Reflect on what's effective, what's challenging, and where adjustments might need to be made. Flexibility is key, and self-care needs can change over time. Adjust your plan as necessary to accommodate changes in your life circumstances or goals. Implementing a self-care plan requires commitment and consistency, but with the right strategies, it can significantly overhaul well-being. All right, by now you've learned about the risks of compassion fatigue and some practical steps that can help prevent or reduce it. You might be wondering, what's next? This is where the real transformation begins. Now is the time to start thinking about mindful self care activities that are meaningful to you. I want to emphasize that self care is not a luxury. It's not an extracurricular activity you save time for on weekends or your time off. It's a necessity, a critical part of maintaining your health, your resilience, and your ability to show up fully in both your personal and professional life. Self care should not be something we do only when we're burned out. It needs to be integrated into our daily lives, especially into our workday. Reflective intentional planning allows us to create a personalized and sustainable self care plan that supports long term well being. These plans are based on activities that align with your values and bring you genuine restoration, not just temporary relief. Research shows that even simple 5-minute workplace interventions like mindful breathing, gratitude journaling, or stepping outside can significantly reduce burnout or secondary traumatic stress. These small moments create space to recharge, regulate, and reconnect. For people looking for a deeper practice, there are evidence-based programs like Mindful-Oriented Professional Resilience Model that offer structured support over a longer duration of time and commitment to a specific program. But our focus here is on practices you can realistically maintain in everyday life. The beauty of self-care is that it's flexible and personal. There is no one-size-fits-all solution. Whether it's art, movement, meditation, time in nature, prayer, or simply a quiet moment of reflection, what matters most is that it's meaningful to you. Self-care doesn't have to be time-consuming or complicated. In fact, the most effective self-care plans are simple, short, and sustainable. Self-care plans work when they're realistic and tailored to your needs. So I encourage you to explore the self-care ideas document in this module and begin building a routine that supports your energy, your purpose, and your well-being. This is how we move from knowing what helps to actually living it every day. Something I want to reiterate is that self-care is often treated as something extra, something we get to only if there's time left at the end of the day. But in reality, self-care is not an extracurricular activity. It's a vital part of maintaining our productivity, focus, and overall well-being. That's why it shouldn't be reserved for evenings or weekends. Instead, self-care should be intentionally built into our workday. Whether it's taking a short walk, pausing for a mindful moment, or simply stepping away from our screens, integrating self-care into our daily routine helps prevent burnout and support sustainable success. Thank you for taking the time to review the information on the self-care and self-care planning module. I look forward to exploring additional course content with you.